Welcome back to another video for Diablo 2 version 1.06, and this time we will be having a look at some of the early items you can buy and craft, as well as some of the late game crafting recipes in order to figure out what you can do with all the gems and skulls you find along the way. And the reason why they were practically used as a currency on Battle.net. So for that I have prepped some characters. We'll start off with this character at level 3. Now let's say you just finished the Den of Evil quest, and you come back to town, you get your reward, and you have your stat points as well. Now, on usually that would be this, just jam it into vitality, yes, but on certain characters, you want to buy. Hopefully we can have one here. Well, we didn't get lucky, but let's have a look at all the items I'm looking for. There you go, that's one of them. This is one of the items you want to buy. I know these gives you the 10 increased attack speeds. That's the only amount of attack speed you can get on any gloves in the game, even later on. But it's available right from the start, and it's nice to have, especially since even if you're not playing as a melee build or a physical build as a ranged or melee, it doesn't really matter. You're going to use your physical attacks a lot more than your regular attacks and than any spells that rely on cast rate and mana. So another item you wanna that lightning strike gave me quite a scare there. Another item you can look for are boots with faster run walk. And resetting the vendors here a couple of times. Just showcase that this is also an item you can go for. I already have the belt equipped, but this is a crude one. Usually you only get the crude one at the early phase, but yeah, this is something you can get, equip, and just suddenly you have more potion slots in your belt. So one of the great things to buy, especially for a caster again, or someone, just a character class that relies a lot on potions early on. Nice to have. Now another thing was looking for those fast one-walk boots, and they definitely do spawn and are purchasable. Just need a little bit of luck.
Greetings.
There you go, with cold res as well. This is some of the stuff you can get. So these are nice items to have. You can also go for any type of weapon, depending on how you distributed your stat points. You can maybe get an upgrade in the weapon department. A really amazing weapon for a barbarian would be the two-handed sword, even if he has to one-hand wield it. Barbarian though does need a couple more points into strength, so you want to get some extra strength through your gear, or maybe just invest a couple points. You'll be investing a couple points in dexterity anyway, and the strength you probably want to invest in. Especially as a barbarian, you can get away with. And you can use this as a two-handed style, or you can later on add in a shield if you feel more safe like that. But even when you wield them on one hand on a barbarian, they do quite a decent amount of damage. Actually can compete with the scepters here, because the scepters have gotten a lot weaker, or had been a lot weaker back in the days. Got other options here. You got the saber here. You got a scimitar. Scimitar very fast weapon, the fastest weapon. One of the swords at least. Obviously you also have daggers, but for paladin, it's definitely the fastest weapon at the start. Throwing weapons are, in my opinion, too expensive to maintain. So there are ways to get your throwing weapons without having to buy throwing weapons. Now, let's have a look at the scepters actually, just to highlight that as well. That they're not really the best choice to go for. This regular scepter here has only 5 to 8 damage, but it costs 1k gold. So obviously with 1000 gold we got basically got all this stuff together. And instead it might still even have enough gold over to buy something else that is somewhat similar to the scepter. Like maybe not the saber here. It's gonna be a little bit more expensive because it's got the sockets in it. But you can buy something like this crude, okay, not a crude one. If you get a nice club, a regular club, it can be nice. Let's have a look. We can reset the vendor, get something without sockets, just something simple, for some raw physical damage.
Good to see you.
There you go. There's a regular spike club, 5 to 6. It's not 5 to 8, but it only costs 211 gold. You can also go for, again here, the scimitar or the saber if you want to. Saber is a lot faster. Put some points into dexterity, you can use them, but you can just stick with the club for now. Later on you can get a mace. It's also nice to check what the Yeet has to offer. He does have some different weapons. For example, the longbow, he offers that one. So that's also a thing you can pick up. You can just go into a ranged weapon if you want to. 520 gold is, if you're lucky, you can get there. Usually you have a little bit of a hard time to get enough gold to buy everything, but if you're lucky you can definitely get some of that stuff. Here's a mace, just low quality, but it's with better quality. You can have, I think, 3 to 11 damage, which is pretty much on par with the scepter. Only needs 2 points, 2 more points in the strength. Anyway, let's say you're just going to buy a spiked club or something like that. Well, let's take the saber for style points. 1, 5. Yeah, and got ourselves some nice damage. If you pick up our early skills, just sacrifice a might you need for all the other auras anyway, except thorns. And sacrifice, well, it's a 1-point wonder. You don't have to pick it up if you want to go into hammers, but I would recommend picking it up. It's still a nice attack and it doesn't cost any mana. It's nice to have. In my opinion, probably the best skill combination to start with would be sacrifice. So the paladin would be sacrifice with Thorn's aura. Not because they synergize well, but because they worked well together, but just because they are an efficient way of dealing damage without wasting mana. And that is also important in the early phase. You want to make sure you don't waste all your mana potions all the time. Alright, so one other thing you want to pay attention to is the Javelin recipe. As you saw, you use the trident and a quiver of arrows to get some javelins. Now javelins, if you look at them, cost a decent amount of gold. You can check for the vendors, and maybe if you're lucky you can find one of low quality. Sadly we don't have one of low quality, a spear of low quality, and it can be any spear type weapon. It can be a trident, a spear, or any spear you find along the way, as well as any type of quiver you find along the way. Now for this we paid barely over 300 gold. If we are lucky we're gonna get a lot of javelins, and that would end up in saving. I mean, we already saved up some gold, even if we only get 31 like here. So let's have a look. How much javelins we can get? 49, that's huge. That's actually a nice thing. That you can actually do that to sell stuff as well. If you find a spear, even if you don't use them yourself, you can sell them and get a decent amount of gold. You can see here it's 147 gold. That's pretty decent for the beginning. Other stuff, classic, you probably know because Kane told you that in Act 2. If you stayed a while and listens to him, then you might know that you can turn 2 quiver of bolts into 1 quiver of arrows, and 2 quiver of arrows into 1 quiver of gold. With bolts, not gold. That would be awesome as well. But that's not how it works. Anyway, regarding these recipes, now there's another recipe that exists and can be used very early with just a chipped ruby here like this, and any sort of healing potion. Doesn't really matter, you can just pick any healing potions you find. Quality doesn't matter, the ruby doesn't matter as well, as I'm going to demonstrate. You just need a blue sword, a magical sword, a ruby, and 4 healing potions of random quality. And you get a longsword of the Leech. And it's always a longsword of the Leech. So far I haven't been able to get another prefix, another mod on it. I only managed to get the Leech mod, and it always is a longsword. But you can keep re-rolling it because it rolls from 4% to 6%. So there you go. That's a high roll. And we could do it again if you wanted to. So let's say that wasn't 6 either, and neither. So we try it again. Okay, this time it's only 5. But the level requirement, as you can see, is only 4. Now you do need a lot of strength and dexterity, though. So gotta be cautious with that one. It's still a nice thing to have, like to be able to get your hands on a longsword like that, because as you can expect, it sells for quite a lot. It sells for more than selling the pieces individually. The ruby would have only given us, like this emerald would have given us 125 gold. So in that regard, we're earning money here. Okay, next recipe is a regular sword, and this you might even remember from LOD, might have used that at one point. But I think it still exists, it still works. It's using 6 random chip gems. It can even be a skull, and a white sword, doesn't matter what type of sword. Using a short sword, and again we get a long sword, and this time with 3 sockets. So another thing, another example of what you can get here now. This theoretically can be better than the other sword, but it doesn't need 6 chip gems, which is a little bit more expensive. So, but for personal use, yeah, you can utilize the sword for more. You can put in an amethyst and 2 skulls and have some decent amount of leech from it. Now the requirements are tough again, and to obviously, I think you will only use this on maybe a barbarian, maybe a paladin, I guess, if you are putting points into dexterity, you are willing to do that for some attack rating, which is wrong actually. A lot of the paladin skills, like concentration aura, doesn't give any attack rating bonus, and it's his strongest aura. You definitely want to commit to that one, since it also boosts his main attack, the hammers. Even the other skills, like you don't get a lot of attack rating bonus, 5% here, and on Zeal you get I think also 5% per level, maybe 10. I'm not entirely sure, but I would have to look it up again. But never mind. So that's now. Okay, now come the ring recipes, and for that I'm going to make some shopping. You can get thawing potions for antidotes, and we need 4 exploding gas potions. We can get in Act 3. Let's have a look if we can get it in Act 2 already.
Hello.
Actually, we can get it in Act 2 already. That is huge. Let's go outside of town and back to Lysander. Get ourselves some more, and there you go. Let's use this stash right here. We don't have to go all the way back. So for that, we're gonna use. Now, obviously, you might remember the recipe to craft fire res rings. You would need a perfect ruby. But back in the pre-expansion era, you didn't need a perfect ruby. You just needed a regular chip ruby. It could be any ruby you find. And he needed 4 exploding gas potions and a blue ring. And boom, you get a 25 fire res ring, which is huge. This is one of those recipes that can. It's so affordable. Like the thing is with getting like a perfect ruby out of nowhere, even on an LOD, can be tricky at times when you're just started your first character and you play through. Even when you're in Nightmare or so, like let's say Hellforge or Nightmare and normal didn't give you many rubies at all, and then you have only 1 ruby left, but you want to use that for a crafting recipe or save that for something else. It's just such a valuable resource. And instead you can just do this, get a garnet ring, and that. Now for a poison res ring, we use the antidotes. And get a poison res ring. And we have the cold res and the lightning res ring. For cold res, it's the falling potions and the sapphire, respectively. There you go. Actually, let's keep them in our inventory. It's a random number, always from 21 to 29. And the final recipe for the lightning res is a little bit different. You don't need any potions at all, just 2 chip topaz this time around, and a magical ring. And this one rolled amazing. This one had a perfect roll. Items usually don't roll the highest number, which is 30 in this case, because of a bug that existed. It was just how it was back then. That one got fixed in LD, actually. So yeah, there you go. This is how easy it is to get yourself those couple chip gems and some potions you buy, and you're ready to go. I had 10k gold on this character with all the items we just ran around with here and sold, created and then sold and so on. Some of them we just dropped on the ground. I still have almost 8k left, so I didn't waste that much. 2k gold. It's actually pretty impressive, and we are gearing up pretty nicely here. So never mind the swords that we threw away. Now here's one recipe you might remember. Or at least 2 you might remember. Let's say 2 you might remember. 1 to create a regular rejuve, and then the other recipe, again, same thing, 3 mana potions and 3 healing potions. To create a full rejuve, we add a random chipped gem or chipped skull. And we get a full rejuve. Now, one recipe that doesn't work, and you might have already found out about it if you've played the game for a while now, is you cannot cube through 3 regular rejuves into a full rejuve. That does not work, and you will have to figure out something else.
Welcome, good day.
Another small thing that some people still don't know, like most people that have played Classic on D2R or on later versions of the game might know it, do know it actually. Usually they do know it because it's part of the game. It still exists. And even in D2R Classic it still exists, which is when you buy a shield, you get a shield, the chance to block 30% is always 30%. It doesn't rely on your dexterity. Your dexterity does not affect what your blocking chance, what amount of blocking you have. So getting a shield of reflecting, something like that would be really nice. And a really nice item to aim for. So having said that, once you get further along, you'll be upgrading your gear. Let's say you've managed to beat the game on normal difficulty, and you're preparing yourself for Nightmare.
Your presence honors me.
Back to encampment. Okay, so you're preparing yourself for Nightmare, and your gear might look... what you might aim for is stuff like this. Either this sword, or something like this sword. Those are amazing swords to have. They're just blue swords, but they can be bought. Stuff like this can be bought or found. The Knight Sword maybe itself, maybe not, but like that. I don't think you can get a broadsword in Act 3 that has this mod yet, but you can get a longsword in Act 4 that can have these mods. These are items that you can aim for. Maybe this amulet as well. If you can get an amulet with some extra mana for a caster, or magic damage reduced, that's really nice. Now, magic damage reduced, it's not a lot, it's a small number, it's just 2. However, with the way how this version of the game works, I mean, even in the modern D2 version, in the early phase of the game, normal difficulty, you can take advantage of magic damage reduce, and it can help you avoid a lot of damage. But here it's actually pretty amazing because of how Firewall works, how Diablo's attacks work, this Flame Wave. Since they do damage you each frame, each tick, you get damage dealt. Now this amulet is gonna reduce damage each tick. So that's damage reduced by 2 is gonna pile up, and it's gonna be a lot more than just 2 damage points that it will reduce from Firewall from the Summoner, for example. So that's a nice thing to have. You can have an attack rating ring. It's also nice just to help you hit stuff. The mana after each kill ring is huge to have as well. They can drop very early. Same goes for Mana Leech ring, Mana Leech equipment. And of course, faster cast rate jewelry for a caster, for a Hammerden or a Sorceress. It's really nice. And then there are uniques and set items you can gamble for. My personal favorites, and one of the first ones, or 2 of the first ones that you want to get, are one, Hand of Brock and Infernal Cranium. Hand of Brock just getting dual leech, but more so the Mana Leech for any physical attacker is enormous. You're not guaranteed to get any jewelry, and obviously you don't want to rely too much on your weapon in that regard, because that's going to limit your weapon choice. You will always need a weapon that has Mana Leech as well, and you might miss out on a weapon that does more damage maybe. So that maybe does more damage, so you would rather have your Mana Leech somewhere else. And for that you can also gamble for Gorefoot. Other stuff you can gamble for are armors like Grey Form, and if you can get Grey Form, you have a 3% chance. You have a 3% chance to gamble for uniques, and a 5% chance for set items. Now, if you can't get Grey Form, you might get Arctic First. That's nice. In combination with Infernal Cranium, you're at 20% less. Now, one reason why I like Infernal Cranium and something like Night Smoke even more so is the damage taken goes to mana, which might be even better than the Mana Leech, especially early on when you're not dealing a lot of damage to Leech to begin with. So having 20% damage taken goes to mana, that's pretty amazing. And if you're playing a melee build like a Paladin or Barbarian, you're gonna take a lot of damage anyway, so you might as well convert that to mana. And Night Smoke is just perfect for that. Not only that, it comes with 2 damage reduced again. When you're getting hit by a lot of stuff, that 2 damage reduced by 2 is gonna pile up and make a pretty good amount of pretty much. It's gonna make a huge difference actually. Then you can also combine stuff like Night Smoke and Hand of Brock, for example, to get 40 mana together, 20 mana each. You can combine stuff like Gorefoot and Hand of Brock to get 5% mana each, which is actually a significant number and can maintain you once you get a decent weapon. Like 3% mana leech is not enough, 2%, same thing, seem worse, I guess. But yeah, you can do that. You can swap out the boosts you had, those were 20% faster, 1 more boots with some lightning rest. I can do this. Now, if I want even more mana leech, I can add in a weapon with mana leech. Now I'm losing something here with increased attack speed. The weapons are pretty much the same in terms of damage and attack rating. But now I'm using attack speed. Well, I can gamble for this, the gold wrap. Put that one on, gets increased attack speed. Other stuff you can get is Death's Guard, just for the Cannot Be Frozen. It's amazing. Having Cannot Be Frozen can make certain areas in the game a lot easier to handle. And there's some, actually can be coming pretty clutch on hardcore, and can be useful in PvP as well. I think that was actually one of the items that got used in PvP a lot. Whenever you dealt with a character, an enemy that dealt cold damage, to avoid the slow effect, slowdown effect. So that's a nice option. You have Fell Oak, which is kind of one of my, in my opinion, the most underrated the caster weapon. And I'm calling it the caster weapon because that's what it is. You can use it on a caster to get some additional res and get some additional safety. And I mean, it still does some decent damage for Act 1, you know. If you can gamble it early on, then you have a decent weapon for Act 1. But yeah, I think the res are just amazing on this. So it's fire and lightning, the 2 things you need the most, and you get a huge chunk of lightning res and a good amount of fire res as well. Yeah, I got, before I go into that, we got the Twitch Throw as well. Now, Twitch Throw is one of those items that could be in certain builds best in slot, maybe. It's got some amazing stats, and it increases the attack speed by 10% and blocking chance by 25%. And that's bonkers. So coming with the 10 dexterity and 10 strength as well, which allows you to wield certain weapons, that can be absolutely amazing. Lacks any res or hit recovery for life you would rather see from an armor, but it offers certain things that you would get nowhere else. So you can combine that with Gold Wrap, for example, and get 20% increased attack speed, and get some gloves with attack speed as well. So you get some ways to increase your attack speed that way. Some options there to increase your attack speed. Okay, before we go into the sets, you can, regarding the shield slot there, you could gamble for a shield like Severus, which has higher blocking chance and certain stuff, but I think there are 2 things you could aim for, 2 options you could aim for when it comes to a shield. Just any shield, doesn't matter if it's like a kite shield, it could be a small shield or anything like that, that has the deflecting mod for 20% increased blocking chance, and you can get this pretty early actually. And considering that shields, as I mentioned before, they like the blocking chance is not relying on your dexterity. So the 58% blocking chance is what you get, which is huge, and you're not stuck in a blocking animation from melee attacks, for blocking melee attacks. You only get stuck in a blocking animation when you get hit by a ranged attack that also does 1/12 of your life in damage. At least that amount in order to put you into a hit recovery. In a blocking animation, not hit recovery, excuse me. So in that regard, like blocking all those melee attacks like that, that's amazing. And you can avoid a lot of damage that way. I even do believe that you can run around and still block. But you don't have to slow down, actually. Although I'm not 100% sure about that. But the game functions in a very different way than LOD, as you've probably noticed by now, so it wouldn't surprise me. Anyway, now let's have a look at one other thing we can gamble for. That would be the Hsarus set, which is affordable somewhat. If you're aiming for Night Smoke, you probably might end up with Hsarus belt as well, if you're unlucky and don't get it right away. Which, I mean, I was in this when I played my Necro on the server. Just couldn't get a Night Smoke, but Hsarus belt multiple times. And I managed to complete the entire set. Now, you can actually hear the sound effect when you complete the set, and now you don't get the green bonus with the attack rating from boots, attack rating per level, which is kind of a shame, but the other bonuses are still amazing. We're looking at, let's look at the individual pieces first. You got 10 strength and 2 damage reduced from Buckler, which is nice for the early phase of the game. The boots are 25 fire res and 10% faster one walk. 10% I have to say here, it's just fast one walk, not faster one walk. So they were a little bit slower here in this patch, in the pre-LOD version. And you have the belt, which is unchanged, like the shield. 20 cold res, 20 life. Now with the full set, on top of the 20 cold res and 25 fire res, you get 25 lightning res as well. Only missing poison res, which is the least important one. And also getting 5 maximum damage. Nice boost, but the most interesting thing is cannot be frozen. So you don't, instead of having a death sash, you can utilize this for the beginning. You don't have a lot of blocking chance there, but at least you get a decent amount of resistances. Now, one thing you want to craft early on, before taking on Hell probably, or maybe while you're in Hell, and preparing yourself for Act 3 and Act 4, is getting a prismatic emerald, which you can do like you're doing in LOD and in D2R. Just one perfect gem of each color and an amulet. And the way these amulets roll, they can have 16 to 25%. They can roll 16 to 25% resistances. Or 24. And usually I haven't had a lot of luck so far to get a second mod on them. But it doesn't really matter, like you're getting these amulets and getting the res up, especially look at this one, 24 lightning, 21 fire, along with the res piece that I showed you for the rings and the other paladin, the other test character. You can get your res up very nicely. Obviously this recipe is a lot more expensive. You do need a perfect gem of each. And And it will take you a while to get them, but at the same time, these amulets are incredibly valuable for you, and they keep you alive in hell. Okay, having covered most of the stuff. This character as well. I think we can go over to some of the others. Trying to remember which one had the. I think this one had the other gems, and now we're getting into the juicy recipes. I here have prepped another amulet, and as I mentioned before, you can use it for a prismatic recipe. But there's another recipe that we have. Let's remember this one, which is just rolling magic items. However, there's a big difference here in 1.06, is that the item level of this, when you use this recipe, is always item level 100. And that's kind of crazy, because that's basically gives you the best way to get a +2 skills amulets. Except maybe there's a better one, but I will talk about that later. But to get a plain blue +2 to class skill amulet, you can use this recipe. Just keep re-rolling, and eventually you might get one of those. Again, the item level is always 100, so you have the chance is always there. And you can keep rolling that thing. I haven't had any luck yet. It's pretty hard to get them, obviously. But if you can manage to roll one of those, that would be absolutely insane. And it's there you go. That's perfect. Just for the demonstration of the video. And 2, there's also skills amulets. My character is level 1. I just placed a random amulet and it kept re-rolling it. I generated a random amulet on Javelin editor. And bam, there you go. So you can utilize this and get juicy stuff like this. Now, I'm obviously not going to keep it. That's cheating. But you can just re-roll it again. Oh, this is painful. 2 sword skills amulet. And we get gold iron instead. Oh man. But yeah, it works. You can keep re-rolling. And one thing you have to also pay attention to is if you want to make a prismatic amulet and you accidentally, you have to make sure that you pick the right gems. Like, right here I have all the gems in the same color, but let's say I'm only missing the amethyst and I accidentally grabbed the ruby. Now because of how the cubing works in this patch, it's always going to check on whether there's one recipe is available. And in this case, while the prismatic amulets cannot be crafted, I can craft a regular blue amulet with item level 100s with 3 gems. It's just going to eat all the other stuff in here. Gonna eat my sword as well. Just like that, everything disappears. You gotta be careful with how you handle the cube. Pay attention to that. So much for that. Let's have some fun and cube some more. Maybe you can get another one. Oh, 54 life, that's a juice one. I mean, I'm happy that we got the +2 skills, because it's actually can take a while to get down. But it works, as you can see. Now, why I said it isn't the best way to get a +2 skill amulet is because there is one more recipe that is used for all rare items, and you're very familiar with that, which is rolling rare items, like in LOD, like in D2R, same thing. using 6 perfect skulls and any yellow rare item. So if you have like a rare imbue that didn't roll that well, don't throw it away. Keep it. You can always re-roll it. Now in this case it turned even worse. But yeah, it is an option. You can do it with scepters as well. If you find a divine scepter, I mean, this is your chance to get something with 2 skills and 20 FCR, as well as you get that ultimate Paladin scepter. In this case, it didn't work. I got 1 to Blessed Hammer, 1 to Zeal, 2 to Holy Shield. I mean, those are nice skills to have and some ED. It's a decent weapon. You got this sword here. Looks like a sword as well, ancient sword. Now with the sword, I'm actually concerned because there's another recipe. Again, it could create us just a socketed longsword. If it thinks that, oh yeah, I'm using 6 gems and a sword. And it actually does. So, might not want to use that on sword. Not sure about 2-handed swords. Actually, could try and see if we can. Well, we need a rare one anyway, so that's not gonna. Yeah. Some more stuff here. Yeah. You can use this for belts. If you find the rare belts, Demonite Sash and Sharpskin belt, which are very interesting belts because of the fact that they have low strength requirements, but they have all 4 slots, rows for your potion slots. So you get the maximum amount of slots for potions. So you can re-roll those to get maybe something better out of it. Like this one, I would probably not re-roll because it has cold damage, which is a rare mod you can get on a belt. It can be huge if you play a bow style character, but you can pick the other one, the Demonite Sash. It's still decent, but let's see if we can get something else. This one isn't much better. Got lightning resist as well, but you got the chance to get all mods possible, all possible mods, because the item level is always 100. So you can use it for bows as well if you want to play bows on. And yeah, your imbue is bad, especially as a bows on. Really need that extra damage. You can use it on that, but you can also use it on amulets. Now I would preferably use it on weapons because you gain more from a good weapon than from a good amulet, but you can also get some really juicy stuff like that. Now look at that bad boy. It's also got something very interesting that doesn't exist anymore, which is getting sorcerer skills and paladin skills on the same amulet. It's kind of cool as well. I mean, it's kind of a wasted mod, I guess, but in a way you can also view it as, hey, I got a 1 to sorcerers and paladin skill amulet with all res and a huge chunk of magic find. And I can use it on each character for magic find. So you want to consider this, and you can even get 2 skills as well. So you can even get yellow 2 skill amulets. And that's why I say that this is said that the other method was only the second best way to get a +2 to all skills amulet, to all characters class skills amulet, because with this recipe you actually have a chance to roll the mod at least 2 and at most 3 times. It's a prefix mod. And since you get 2 prefixes on a yellow item, always guaranteed to get 2, you have a higher chance to roll that 1 prefix that you really want. So higher chance on the yellow ones, but it's expensive. We are lucky here that I'm very lucky that it turned out so well on the video. But yeah, you can also get stuff like this. This is amazing. This is an amazing bow. It's got a ton of ED. Doesn't have a lot of attack rating, but maximum damage, dexterity as well. Man, this is a nice rune bow. And because it's a runebow, it does have some decent attack speed. This could be hell viable, I believe. This could actually be hell viable. Yeah. So much for that. Those are some nice pieces we got. And I think I've covered all the stuff that I wanted to cover. There's some other nice recipes that you might want to look up. Nothing too huge, like stuff like how to make a savage polearm, a savage bardage, or out of Chris and staff and a belt. But, just random stuff. I mean, that could be nice if you want to play on a barbarian and could deal some good damage. Just have a heavy hitting weapon for your leap attack. Stuff like that. I will put the link for of where I found these recipes in the description of the video, so you can check them out. It's on Web Archive. I managed to find an old the old Chaos Sanctuary page, which by now has turned into the Ariad Summit, but was known as Chaos Sanctuary back then, before LLD came out, and was used by most players to look up their recipes, look at their basics, their fundamentals for the game. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video, hopefully. Goodbye.